So one of the first things I do after asking all of those questions to the client is I do a cluster evaluation. This means I go through and actually evaluate how the cluster is set up and if there's anything that can be done at a cluster level to improve performance. So you saw this slide previously. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but what I will point out is we have services. Those are the items in yellow, servers, which is the items in blue, and then external dependencies in brown down there. All of those services can be broken out and run separately. They don't necessarily have to be deployed in this arrangement, but we found that for most clusters, this is a logical way to lay out your services. So picking your servers. Masters nodes, it sounds like these need to be like really big because they're called masters, but really you don't need that big of a master node. Usually you can start with a fairly small node, and then as you add more segments or more real-time ingestion task supervisors, you scale out your master nodes. Your query nodes, usually these are kind of medium-sized. They scale out as you add additional users or as you add additional data nodes. Usually we go one query node to about every 10 or 15 data nodes. And then the data nodes are the workers. These, as much CPU and memory you can throw at them, they will love you for it. Next up, once we determine that the servers we're using are appropriately sized, we have to make sure that the configuration is appropriate for those servers. So this is by no means an exhaustive list of all the settings that need to be evaluated, but usually when I come into a brand new cluster, these are the things that I adjust first. The important ones, obviously making sure your heaps are appropriately sized, making sure your connections and threads are appropriate to the machine. Read the documentation. It goes through all of the sizing exercises for this. Typically, we'll disable caching at the broker level and enable it on the historical level. If you have a really small cluster or limited use case, sometimes you can get better performance by switching that. But when we're going to production, we usually disable it at the broker.